Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. It is Tuesday, but there's no update since it's only the third day of Chapter 4. So instead, here's some things you may have missed while playing Chapter 4. Starting off in the lobby, something you may have not noticed with the new Battle Pass characters is little gestures that they do. If you're sitting in the lobby with the new Battle Pass characters and you wait long enough, they do their own little gestures. This is really cool as they give kind of their own personality to the character. And it's also cool if you don't own any emotes. This is something new that you can't do with past skins in the game, and I hope they continue to do this. One thing I don't like what they're doing is the weekly quests. In the past, weekly quests are a set of quests that would come out every week of the season that you're able to do until the season ends. But now you can only do them in the week they release. Once they release, you have 7 days to do it, and if you don't, they will expire and you will never be able to do them again. This is really bad for people who can't do the quests in the week, because once they're gone, they're never coming back. Whereas before, if you get on the game towards the end of the season, you could quickly grind weekly quests to get some quick XP. But heading over to the Chapter 4 map, something you may have noticed quite quickly is the gigantic mountain in the snow section. This is a really big mountain and it may just be the highest point in Fortnite history. So this means it's going to be extremely bad when people camp on top of this mountain. Except Fortnite finally fixed this. Back at Chapter 3, camping on top of the snowy mountains was a really bad thing. If you had high ground on top of the mountain and the circle was in the right space, it was almost guaranteed that you'd win. But in Chapter 4, they actually fixed this. While climbing up the mountain, you may find it kind of difficult, and that's because it's covered in ice. As you get higher up the mountain, more ice appears, and it makes it hard to stay on top. It is possible to get on top, but once you're on the top, it makes it kind of difficult to stay in one space. So if you're trying to hit someone down below, it's just not gonna work. But don't worry, the mountain isn't just for looks. If you go up to the top of it, there's this little wind current that will boost you up a bit and allow you to glide down safely. But something also that Fortnite did to prevent people from camping on top of the mountains is the removal of snipers. Now obviously snipers aren't only used for campers, and I'm kind of sad they're not in the game at the moment. That's right, no snipers can be found in the beginning of Chapter 4. I do believe eventually they'll add some snipers to the game, but there's officially no snipers at the moment. Something also in the snow area that may have gone unnoticed is the random grass patch. Almost half the map is covered in snow at the moment, but if you go off to the edge, there's actually this little grass patch. The only thing that's in here is a gas station, and I'm not really sure why this is not covered in snow. This could be a teaser to the lore, or it could just be how the map was designed, but we'll have to see as the weeks go on. But something really interesting that Chapter 4 added was capture the flag. And no, I'm not talking about a separate game mode in creative, but an actual game mode in Battle Royale. If you go to certain POIs, there's this little circle in the middle that you may have noticed. This is capture the flag. There's a flag in the middle with a certain color on it, and if you stand in the circle for a certain period of time, the flag will reach the top and it'll drop a bunch of loot that's the rarity of the color of the flag. And on top of that, we'll also scan the entire POI for chests and enemies. I think this was a cool addition they added to the game. It's not too OP and it's kind of just fun. But another cool thing Fortnite added in Chapter 4 is drones. Drones were added to Fortnite many times before, but they're back again for Chapter 4. When you're loading up into the game, look on the map and you might see some certain golden locations. These are drone locations. If you drop at these locations, there will be certain drones flying around that you could shoot down and get some loot from. These drones won't attack you and they're just a quick way of getting loot if you don't find a chest. But an interesting POI this season is Shattered Slabs. If you head over to Shattered Slabs, it kind of looks like they're still building the POI, but they're actually digging up these mysterious rocks. If you head over to Shattered Slabs, you might find these purple rocks everywhere, and that's what these people are currently digging up. These rocks are actually involved in the storyline quest, so they do have something to do with the lore. But a cool little secret with them is if you hit the rocks a certain amount of times in the same location, in the same direction, and then you stop hitting, they will go flying. I feel like people can get some cool trick shots with these, and it's just a cool little addition to the game. But walking around the map, you may have noticed that most of it is medieval themed. We have tons of castles everywhere and little huts that just don't seem in the modern age. But we do have POIs such as Slappy Shores that still have the buildings we're used to, like Tilted Towers did. Yes, that's right, Tilted Towers is actually on the map right now. Well, sorta. If you head over to this cave, inside of it you could find the Tilted Clock Tower. And that's about it. I don't think the whole POI would make an appearance in this season. I think they just wanted to keep a small part of Tilted in the map. When loading up into this chapter, you could see that Slap Juice is everywhere. They have their own berries, their own factories, and even their own energy drink. Slap Juice is pretty common. You could find it in chests and on floor loot, and you could actually drink it while running. They give you 15 health and 15 14 shield, and if this does seem like you've seen the slap juice before, that's because it's fairly similar to slurp juice. It's a quick heal that doesn't take much time and only heals you a little bit, but you could find them pretty much everywhere. But a little secret that slap juice has is when you drink or eat the berries, you actually have a pretty big stamina. Your stamina will last way longer than it usually does, and it's cool for trying to get into circle. But come on, we all know slurp is way better. But speaking of shield, we have these new animals this season. You may not have noticed them around the island, and that's because they're actually flying. And no, not the flying animals that were teased, but little tiny jellyfish. Around the map, you could find little tiny jellyfish just floating in the air. For whatever reason, people's first reaction to these were to shoot them, and if you do that, they kind of boost you out like a shockwave. But if you don't shoot them and you jump into them, they actually heal you. These kind of remind me of the mushrooms from last season. But something that's gone completely unnoticed that was removed this season compared to last chapter is the whiplash. Nowhere on the island right now can you find the whiplash car. It was this fastest default car in Fortnite, and it's now gone. I think the reason for this is that most of the island is made up of dirt and snow roads, and I feel like driving the whiplash around would just be a pain. Something I all think we missed though is glider redeploy, and it's actually in the game at the moment. You don't have it when you load in though, you have to get it through the abilities. So if you're running through your abilities and you see glider redeploy, make sure you pick it because it's extremely helpful. But probably the most interesting thing that you may not have noticed around the island is certain rifts appearing. If you're running around the map and see a certain exclamation point on your visual sound effects, that's because a rift is opening. In certain locations on the map, certain rifts open and drop down random stuff. This is nothing too serious or too broken, but I think it's gonna make a big part in the storyline. Well guys, that's gonna wrap things up for this video. I'm sure more secrets will reveal themselves as the season goes on, but these are just some things that you may have noticed right off the bat of playing the game. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.